Number 17. This stupid weather, honestly, interrupting everything. Now, hopefully I'm not blurry anymore, so I bet everybody's not going to rejoin back now, so I'm going to be on my own, talking to myself. Oh dear. So, I'm going to wait for some people. Oh, there we go. The viewers are in. Hopefully, everyone's going to give me feedback again. Am I jerking around? Am I not? Please let me know, because very curious. If this fails again, I'm going to have to postpone the actual podcast. Right, seems good. Oh, there we go. I've got some messages now saying it seems good. Right, so new backdrop today. Yes, I'm going to explain that again as best as I can. So basically, if you're watching me now, you'll realize that this is attempt number 7 in the last 10 minutes. Apparently the video was jerking quite heavily, so hopefully it's going to work now. Okay. So yes, new backdrop. Slightly bit laggy, better than before. Okay. Oh, okay? So you were here before. I've turned all the Wi-Fi off everywhere I could. I think my only laptop is the only one that's taken it. So basically, yeah, it's blowing a gale force wind outside right now, and it's probably interfering with the Wi-Fi signals, as it always does. So again, yes, new backdrop. I've decided something new. Hopefully, it's a good look. Maybe I should keep this look, or maybe I should kind of keep fluctuating week by week. I'll see how the feedback goes on this one. So, like I was saying before, the whole title of the podcast, so again, podcast number 5, and this time it's titled "In the Pursuit of Multiple New Properties." And what I'm thinking of doing is starting to label the podcasts with a specific topic that I've got going on in my head, or what's happened in the last week potentially. Are you back? Yes. Are we back? Well, hopefully, Michael, you tell me if we're back. Please tell me if it's slightly better. I've tried to fix a few things. So yes, I'm going to probably start titling the podcasts, again, all judging on the feedback and how I feel, but whatever's circulating in my head in the past week, again, this is a weekly thing, so whatever is circulating in my head, I may kind of title this as the week's topic, to where I talk about obviously this specific topic, and then I kind of talk out loud, talk what's in my head, and then in the meantime you guys can either ask me completely random questions which I'll touch on, and then hopefully obviously I'll go deep into those questions, or you ask me more in-depth questions regards the topic that I'm actually talking about. So that's the whole plan. Would be nice to have a change each week, it up a little. Yeah, I mean, this is a nice backdrop. I might have new products on there each week, kind of see how I'm feeling. This week I'm feeling the Prezol over here and the PF22 just there. That's just the first things that were available off the shelf, but I can pretty much have anything that I want on here, even though you can't really see it that well because the camera aperture is really nice. So basically, in the pursuit of multiple new properties, I'm going to kind of touch on that topic. 1 second, I'm just checking. Stop touching the mic, it hides your face. Yeah. In the pursuit of new properties, today I went to our newest kind of facility just to have a look. Kelly's brother popped in, and I thought, I'll go and show him around. Why not? He was here, the workers were there. So I walked in, I showed him around. We got this mezzanine, which I'll touch on in a second. And everything's freshly painted, everything's looking good. The lights are still a little bit bad because obviously it's the typical fluorescent bulbs that you find in most UK kind of commercial units, so we'll probably obviously rip them out and put our really nice fancy ones in. So I showed him around, and there was a worker in. So again, we were supposed to get the keys this Friday, so 2 days from today, And as always, the management company who run the site and who run pretty much the other 800 sites that they manage across the country under the same name and under the same brand, they've left everything to the last minute. So they're meant to have a month turnover. So on the first of the month, you would think any normal company would get the workers in as soon as possible, just in case there's a few problems. Now, not this company. They leave it for 3 weeks, so there was nobody within the unit, and we can't use the unit because we're technically not insured yet. And then in the last 7 days, they'll invite all these labourers, so electricians, door people, painters, all that sort of stuff. So today, I think it was the final guy who was the roller shutter door service guy. And as I'm showing Kelly's brother around, he said, "Oh, are you guys moving in?" Because obviously we just walked in randomly, and I said yes. And apparently the roller shutter door control module is completely dead now. He undid this module, and basically the wires weren't meant to be how they were inside there, which is a big shame, because he said now they're going to have to order one in, obviously custom to this door. Again, I don't know how old these doors are, 5-year-old, 10-year-old, well, I think about 5 to 6-year-old, like realistically. And apparently it's not coming from the UK, so I think it's coming from somewhere in Europe. So with everything that's happening now, the shipping times, it's getting up to Christmas, which means the big retailers are starting to already kind of pump heavy product in and out of the UK. So all of this is meant to happen by Friday morning or Friday afternoon. So I'm in a little bit of a pickle. So, I mean, we need the space 2 months ago, and now there's potentially a delay. We received an email saying, obviously, informing us of this issue, but they didn't know that we already knew this, saying, well, you can't move in. It's technically classed as unsafe, even though it's perfectly fine, but still, I would never move in without a roller shutter door working properly, because obviously as soon as we move in, it's going to be like pallets coming in, pallets coming out. That's the whole purpose of this property. So it could take a week, it could take 2 weeks, and we're literally busting out of the seams right now. We're taking more stock. Obviously, I think this is a weekly occurrence. I always say we're taking more stock, and we're just ordering, and we're just stockpiling everything that we can, as much as we can, because some things take longer than others. So yes, the unit's not perfect. It's got a mezzanine halfway, so imagine from the back wall you see from here, it probably goes halfway, so probably what, 6-7 meters, like this. The roof on the mezzanine, even though the mezzanine's, so it's a mezzanine with like a professional office done. I may do a video on that just to show you guys. And obviously the office is designed to be an office. It houses a kitchen and a bathroom and all sorts of stuff in there. But on top of the mezzanine, there is planking, like structural integrated planking to keep it safe, but there's no roof and there's no plyboard or wood on top of it. So we've lost the floor space, because you don't store stuff in the office, especially pallets, because you can't get through the door. And then you can't store stuff up on top because they've decided not to fix the planking. So they're going to have to fix the door, and they're going to have to fix what's on the roof, because you've pretty much got 600-700 square feet of roof space that currently can't be used, and we need to use it. Otherwise it's like a third of a unit, so kind of what's the point? So that's the current kind of situation that I'm in. But some good news. One of our other friends on this business side is literally through this wall, but on that side, so about 4 or 5 along. He's got the biggest unit on the site. He was already here when we moved. We kind of got to know him as like a transport company. Now he's potentially moving out in January, so he's going to give us notice, I think, in December, which is again probably tail end of next month. And the good thing about that is he's given us the heads up, so potentially we can pre-warn the landlords, kind of say, look, if anything comes up, even though we kind of have the advantage of knowing something is coming up, we want to be the first. Now, they normally push out the invitations of taking units within the compound, because again, they have all of our information. They have obviously all our bank details, so we're kind of like a safe bet. Now, a lot of people usually don't do it. We are kind of, at the minute, we're the biggest tenants on the site, and I think there's another lady who kind of has 3-4 units. So we'll probably get down as well. Now, that one is about 2,500 square feet, which is quite cool because it's probably the width of this. So this is like 10-11 meters wide, but it's about 20-25 meters deep. So it's actually quite big, and it's basically empty space. There's no shelving, there's no nothing. So if we can take that on, it's going to be fairly expensive. Good business parks and good units within good business parks are currently going for a big premium. So, you know, you can go to a grubby business park, get 17,000 square feet for probably what we're paying right now, but you don't know who you're next to. You could be next to a waste disposal site, could be next to kind of a car scrap merchant. So that's not the area we want to be in. So a premium business site demands premium rates. So hopefully, if all goes well, and this all happened fairly quickly, we get the unit that I'm talking about with the faulty roller shutter door, and then we go for the biggest unit on this site again. This was never the plan. He just pulled me to the side and said, "Nick, do you want it?" I said, "Hell yeah, I want it. I need some space." Because like I said last week, as soon as we move a few doors over from us into the other unit, we've immediately, so on the first day, we've run out of space. So it's going to be a tricky kind of, we're in the growth pain, or the pains of growing stages of a business. This unit, I thought, oh God, this is like the unit where I'm at now. I thought, yep, this is the unit. This is going to be enough for a long, long time. I kind of underestimated and under-dreamed, or I didn't dream enough and far enough to how quickly we can scale this. Now it gets to a point, storage, I now realize why you get some of these huge companies. I look at some of these units and they're 50,000 square feet, and I think, whoa, you know, that's big. But then, as I said last week, a good friend of mine on the other side of his business park, he's got 40,000 square feet, and we walked around it the week he took it over, not like literally the day, and literally it looks like an Amazon style warehouse. And I can't foresee us actually, I can foresee us being in a sized unit like that in the not too distant future. The way that we're taking up all these facilities, I think we're going to need something on the one roof quite big. So it's going to be a really exciting time, obviously leading up to Christmas, quite an important period for us. Leading out of Christmas is a transition period as well, and we're going to use that time to kind of grow this even more. And then I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be really, really interesting. So that's kind of one kind of topic under the pursuit of new properties. We've also been looking, again, at the minute it's looking, because we are in a once in a lifetime situation, or as I call it, we're in currently a small level black swan event, right? So black swan event is when something completely unplanned happens, and I'm talking World War III, nuclear bombs dropped, you know, stuff like this. Obviously, with what's currently happening around the world, I would probably call this a mini black swan event. Last year, it was a major black swan event, but now hopefully it's starting to ease. But still, the effects on retailers is going to be felt for, at the current rate, if nothing changes, probably 6, 12, 18 months, okay? And this is the whole thing that I've been talking about quite in depth on these podcasts, is it's the supply and demand curve. A lot of people, the way it works, a lot of people don't understand this, is the fact that I'm going to start from, obviously, kind of this end and I'm going to move all the way to that end. So when you're talking the manufacturing scale, you need a certain set of raw materials to manufacture something. Now, if you cannot get hold of those raw materials, whether it's from a raw material supplier or you go and find them yourself or you dig them yourself, what that happens is your orders on this end start piling up and you can't actually get the orders out fast enough. So what that happens is the number one position, what they do as a byproduct is they raise the price. Raise the price from the bottom means everybody up above you in the chain, the middlemen, the wholesalers, the retailers, they have to obviously up the price. Now, this is what's currently happening. The prices are getting upped. The supply, in terms of how fast you can get things, is not kind of slowing down. But sometimes in certain areas you can't get it. Some people have got long lead times. And what's happening, the point I'm trying to get to is in terms of looking for a property to buy, especially in new build property, bricks, mortar, sand, metal, that's the number one thing that I'm going to mention. So all of these things are going to the foundations, the brickwork, the kind of the pretty bit, the ugly bit, all these things that make almost like a house or commercial unit. It's currently very hard to get a hold of. The builders are getting charged, sometimes I've heard quotes of 400% up on raw materials, so like the beams, the brickwork and flooring and all that sort of stuff. So as you can imagine, when you're looking for a unit to buy, let me give you an example. A unit that is probably £500,000 is probably now retailing for over £1 million or million plus, okay, million or £1.5 million. Now, you'd be stupid to buy it because when the whole thing goes boom, you're actually overexposed and over leveraged into, imagine your property is bought for 1.5 million in a normal market, it's worth 500,000. You're technically $1 million in negative equity already. You need to wait a long time until the market kind of peaks at that level again. So we're looking at the idea, and I'm just like literally I'm window shopping. There's no intent behind it because I'm just hoping you find a gem, a pre-built unit that's a year, 2 year old. Well, I'm not going to say a unit, a facility, because it could mean a number of things. Hopefully, you know, like a new car, you're not paying that new kind of price tag, but a pre-owned 1.5 years and had a clean business. Imagine we were the first business in this unit. If you take over a unit after us, it's perfect. So this is what we're kind of looking at potentially. It's very exciting, it's very scary because obviously expensive, commercial mortgages, I don't need to go any further. It's literally an absolute nightmare. And currently we're good. So we're in a good position. We're struggling a little bit for room because kind of, as I said, stockpiling. But again, I'm being relative because everybody would love to start a business or a venture, let's call it a venture, and move into 100,000 square feet like Amazon. There's an Amazon HQ fairly close to us, and I think it's 200,000 square feet. Everybody would love that, and everybody would love to pay £1 a month on that facility. That would be the absolute gold mine, but these things do not exist. So you have to go up in levels. We started with 1. Now it's 4, potentially number 5 coming as soon as January, February, March, maybe. It depends how kind of quick they turn it around. So at that point, I told you last week that probably number 4 is going to be enough, but I think number 5 has to happen because of what I foresee incoming. In fact, we've took recently, I think it's a pallet or 2 pallets of some sort of, I think it's the 5 litre containers, just to restock, a generic restock. And yeah, a pallet's a big thing, you know, so 2 pallets, I'm thinking, where do I put this? So yeah, this is where we're kind of going for. Rent is, if you rent for the rest of your life, it's not feasible as a business. Sometimes it is, it depends who your landlord is, but I know our landlord it's not a feasible landlord. They overcharge and overprice per square meter. So if you pay the rent that we're paying now, yes, it has some benefits, but there's a lot more negatives than there is benefits, and it's classed as dead money. Whereas if you put it into a mortgage, technically it's your money because you can then re-pull your money out as and when the time requires. So that's where we kind of sort of are in our little hunt recently. It's been a little bit stressful. That's why I've turned a bit more grey this week. So by the way, I hope the video is coming out not as laggy. Again, I apologize. I cannot control the weather. I didn't realize the wind would affect us that much, but it has happened in the past. I've noticed that strong storms kind of they cause disruptions in the signal, whether it's phone signal or Wi-Fi signal. So I hope a lot of people joined today. Last week was probably the best podcast we've had. It'll be very interesting. So yes, are we back? Michael Brett, Corsa VXR. Would be nice to have a change each week, to change it up a little. I'm guessing you're talking about the backdrop. So yeah, I've decided I just off the bat when I'm setting this up, I thought, oh, what happens if I actually change the location a little bit? So it looks quite cool to me here. Hopefully it looks even better through the camera for you guys. Do you miss the Mustang? So obviously you can see that. That's interesting. So what car did I sell for the Mustang? So I sold my Audi RS3, which again I loved a lot, and I looked after the car probably, like, I think I overlooked after the car. It was a little bit of a princess to me. Paint was perfect, everything was perfect. I had an accident in it. It was the first major accident I've had in a car. It ended up costing about £9,000 in damage, and I only kind of, what did I do? I did a front bumper, a light fixture, and the bonnet. Literally £9,000. Luckily, it went through insurance. So, and it was like a low speed impact. So I think it was like 10 mile an hour, and because the whole car was, the whole front end of modern cars is designed to crumple. Luckily, if I'd been going any faster, the body shop told me that the actual spike of the impact point, it was about this far away from the engine block, so that would have been a lot more expensive. But anyway, I sold the RS3 for the Mustang. Again, everybody thought I was losing my mind, because they're saying you're going from a pretty high-end, hatchback, well, a hyper hatch they called it. So it was at the time the fastest hatchback you can get in the world, 4-wheel drive, technologically advanced for its age. So it was 2016 when I got this. It was brand new, so I got the car brand new. Fairly high spec. The only thing I didn't spec on the car was the wingback seats, and the panoramic roof, because at the time I didn't really need the wingback seats and the panoramic roof. I don't really like pan roofs. I wouldn't spec one. Well, I say that, it depends the car, but on that car I wouldn't spec one. So it was very high spec. I had it from new, like literally I think I had 30 mile on the clock, so it was just basically delivery mileage. And so I had that car for about 11-12 months. Me and Kelly did the Euro trip in that car. That was the car that we went in. And in fact, I might need to reshare some more pictures on Instagram, I think. But it seemed like a lifetime ago. But to this day, I will always say this, currently it's unbeaten. That holiday that I went on with Kelly was unbeaten. And I've been to some very nice places around the world, but still, the fact that me and Kelly were almost free, so we obviously think we did about 10,000 miles in around 2 weeks. So it was a lot, and we drove, Germany, 2 places in Germany. We did Austria, Switzerland, and 2 places in the south of France. I think that's it, yes. So we did like a big loop, and we came kind of back up from, I think it was from Monaco, yeah. So we did that trip, fantastic. The car didn't miss a beat, and I had a lot of memories in that car. So, and I came back and I thought, nah, this is it. I've had my fun in the car, I've tracked it. So me and Kelly went to the Nürburgring. Everything was safe there. We came back. obviously after a huge kind of road trip, and the car was done to me. So I did everything I wanted to do with that car because if I'm honest, I got a little bit bored. So I saw this car, well, not the specific car, but I saw a couple of Mustangs. So I lived in Surrey Hampshire / Surrey, and I had a friend. So in fact, it was Kelly's friend. He said to me, he said, let's go to this car event. It was like a Help for Heroes car event. So me, Kelly, and her friends, we went down there, and that day there was a Mustangs owners club, kind of showcasing a few of their cars and supporting the Help for Heroes. So as soon as I saw some of those cars, there was a black one, huge wing on it. It sounded like it was Waking the Dead, and I thought I won one, like literally. And I think within a week, 10 days, I had one. So this is the way it went. I tried to get a new one. I always like new if I can. The new build date was around 11-12 months at the time. I don't know what the issue was at the time, but anyway, I didn't want to wait that long. So I started hunting around. Now, a Mustang is like some cars you see, it's very hard to find them unmodified. So, like Nissan GTRs, for example, you go and try and find me one under about 50-60 grand that's not been fiddled with and that's not been tracked. It's almost impossible. Same thing with the Mustangs. They don't really get tracked, but they get a lot of modifications because it's a Ford, fairly cheap to do, and a lot of people usually try and put huge exhausts on, huge wings, and kind of do the things that you're supposed to these cars. So it's very hard for me to try and find it. So eventually I found one in Colchester. So if you look at the map, Google Maps, look where Hampshire is and where Colchester is. It's quite a long drive, so I had to drive all the way to the East Coast. So again, we packed the car up, and me and Kelly drove to Colchester from Hampshire / Surrey. I think we were right on the border. And it took us about 2-3 hours. And basically, I was going there with the intent of buying this car. All the documents were taken. Now, again, I'm not stupid. If I didn't like the car, I wouldn't buy it. So we went there. It was a prestige dealer. The dealer was called Provida in Colchester, and really nice company. They were really nice to us. They bought Kelly this massive, huge bunch of flowers. They had Ferraris, Lamborghinis, all that sort of stuff there. So we went there, went for a test drive. It was I've never driven a naturally aspirated car in my life. So imagine coming from a 500 brake plus RS3 four-wheel drive turboed. So obviously you put your foot down and poof, you're gone. So the acceleration of that car was immense. And then you go and jump into a car where you're doing 30 mile an hour in fourth gear. You put your foot down and accelerate, and the car's not moving. It just obviously picks up speed eventually because there's no boost on the car. There's no supercharging, and there's no kind of turbocharging. So I was like, this is a bit, it's not as lean as I thought it was going to be. Through the corners, it was a bit heavy. It had an aftermarket exhaust on it already. That was the one part that was modified, and it was by a huge American company. I think the number one company that modifies or has modification parts in the US. It was called Roush, or one of the top two. So I thought, well, it's got a decent exhaust. I think the exhaust system was about $3,000, so it wasn't cheap. Roush are quite expensive. So I drove it. It sounded okay. I wouldn't say it sounded like it was Waking the Dead, but I thought, look, I'm going to take a punt on it. The reason why I bought the car, and the reason why we buy the cars that we buy now, is I never buy a car to look cool in. So like I keep saying, certain cars are in fashion, certain cars you need to have to make yourself look like you are somebody, which I think is fairly accurate. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. So the reason I bought this car is because it had a lot of road presence. I'm all about the road presence. And I thought with the right money dropped into the car, I can potentially make it look half decent. So I took a punt. I sold a very expensive, brand new, pretty much RS3, lost a ton of money. I think we lost 20 grand on the car. I was like, oh, 11, 12 months, just so much money lost. I was broken. But anyway, I didn't care about that. I'm young, I wouldn't say I was stupid at the time, but, few lessons were learned. So I drive this car back. So we leave Colchester, which is still 2.5, 3 hours away. And guess what? The biggest rain thunderstorm was about to come down on East Anglia, going down into the south of England. So we drove the Mustang back at about 30 mile an hour on the M25. I almost killed 5 people, but still, we made it back in one piece. And by the way, this was like January time, I think, if I believe, or November time, in fact, one of the two. So it was frosty, raining, and I'm in a rear-wheel drive car on Pirelli P0s. Now, if you know what Pirelli P0s are like on a rear-wheel drive car, you will right now be absolutely crying with laughter, because it was the worst experience of our lives. Like, you could not see the road. So every day I drove the car. I just made excuses, and I went here, there, everywhere. I think I drove to Tesco 14 times a day so I can drive the car. And then, unbeknown to me, going back a little bit, the people that were showcasing their cars at the Help for Heroes event became my very, very good friends, because, again, there was only 2 groups, which is helpful. There was only 2 groups on Facebook. So that kind of had a big, big presence in terms of Mustangs. That's it. Nobody else. Everything else was American. So, but there was a little off-cut group which were called Surrey Mustang Owners. So again, about 15 minutes away from me. And I started going to these events. The average age of these people was about 40, 50. So they weren't like idiots, and they weren't stupid. Again, they're all Mustang crazy. Some people like literally have got Mustangs tattooed on their chest, like crazy, crazy people, but still really nice. And in fact, one couple, Andy and Linda, I don't know if they'll ever watch this again, but Andy and Linda will still talk to them, really good friends. We did an event with them a couple of years ago where we drove in our caddy van, and we took our whole trade stand down to Surrey, and we did an event there. It was really cool. They're really kind of really welcome to us. And they really supported us, and they kind of knew what our current background was at the time in the military. And then they actually supported Kelly in the surprise birthday, the first year in business. A ton of Mustang owners came down here all the way from Surrey, and they drove all this way in a massive convoy to kind of wish me happy birthday. So had some cool events. Now, do I miss it? I won't go too deep into detail because, again, kind of a bit of a sore subject for me, but yeah, I think towards the end of it, I didn't really need to sell the car. I loved the car. The car was straight. It had multiple paint corrections. I modified it so we had it on the wheels, lowered. I kind of chopped and changed the exhaust a little bit, so I kept the original system, but I just opened it up. And if anybody remembers the Mustang, or if anyone saw the Mustang in person, it was very, very loud. So I think the only step further to go was to put headers on. That's the only way you can make the car louder. But yeah, it used to kill people, basically. We had a new bonnet on, so I imported the bonnet that you see on the picture from the States. I don't know how it made it here in one piece. Had it sprayed. Again, I learned a lot of lessons with body shops on that, on the bonnet, or hood, as the Americans say, hood. So yeah, because it's fiberglass, paint was like really bad to kind of adhere to it, and the primer just was not sticking, and yeah, it was just an absolute nightmare. But we eventually we got it working with the paint job, and yeah, it was good. I believe I built the brand with the Mustang. I think that was the car. I own the car still. It's the record for me. It's the longest car I've ever owned. It's about 3 and a bit years. And it did a lot of work for me. It was actually a good workhorse. It attracted some of our clientele. Obviously, it pushed away some of our clientele as well. And yeah, like it's a very recognizable car. A lot of people say, the car's crap, it's this and that, but look, it's 30 grand, and you're getting a 5-liter V8 naturally aspirated. All you've got to do is put a good exhaust system on it, £4,000, and you're done. That is it. I mean, people go mad with these things. You know, I put the bonnet on, wheels, and dropped it, and all these type of things. I think lowering it also helps. Lowering it with the right offset wheels, right? It's not a show car at that point, but still, it looks good. It's got flared arches, so when you're driving the car and you look in your right mirror or your left mirror in that fact, but the right mirror was the best one, and all you see is these huge hips, a lot of road presence. So for 30 grand, you've got to be relative. I mean, what car can you buy for £30,000 new? A basic spec BMW, Mercedes, really, you know, because in the German car market, you've got to really kind of start pushing the boundaries of money to get the decent option and the decent models. Whereas with Ford, you can pretty much go all the way in for not a lot of money. So yeah, in some ways, the only thing I miss about that car, there's always something in a car that I miss. In this car, I miss the sound. I think, yeah, it's a very, very distinctive sound, a 5-litre V8. The car on my right here is my GLC 63S. That's a 4-litre V8, but it's a twin turbo. It doesn't sound anything close to it. I think Mercedes ruined the engines on these newer cars. I think the old school 6.2 litres were, yeah, I think they were really good. So in some ways I do miss it. In a lot of ways I don't miss it, because I knew eventually that car was going to break on me. So I think I got rid of it at the perfect time. There was no indication that it was going to break, but there was a lot of issues with oil coolers with Ford Mustangs. Luckily, I was one of the ones that it never broke on, but still, it's a Ford. Most likely something will crack. Now, we sold it to, in fact, it's a strange story. We actually sold it to a customer of ours without knowing it was a customer. So when I rang up, I was actually part Xing that car against the GTS. And he asked me for my registration plate, obviously Boss Yum, and my full name. And then he comes out with, "Are you Nick from YumCars?" And I was like, whoa, who are you? Really strange experience. But now again, he's bought the Krenzer pressure washer package from us. He supports us with the products. He owns Sterling Motor Cars, if you want to see, East Grinstead. So a really lovely area of the country. They've got a lovely compound. It's literally the dream compound. They've got a house, tennis court, everything, just fantastic. He's actually got some really good stock. So anyway, he actually said my name, and he knew who I was off a number plate, my name, and obviously his brother-in-law is the customer, but he now has become the customer. So it was a lovely experience, and yeah, it was gone. And obviously we moved on to the GTS, and kind of the progression kind of continued of the car chase, or what is the perfect car type of thing. So yeah, so keep firing the questions, by the way, guys. I'm curious. Ask as much as you want, or as little as you want, but I prefer if you engage. So hey guys, late as always, hope you are well. Thomas Pickering, hello Thomas, hope you are well, my friend. How has the 5-litre sales been? James at the Savage Garage. So James, first of all, hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying that. I don't know if you've revealed that, but I hope you've enjoyed that new thing. That's what I'll say. So the 5-litre sales, heavy, very heavy. When we launched them, well, in fact, the night before that we launched them, I did that picture on the back. It was all dark and moody and stuff like that. And that picture really took off. It got shared a lot of times. And the inquiries were there, and I said, literally wait. I think it was, 13 hours. So you just need to sleep on it one more night, and they're going to be live. And we launched it, and they were just pinging out. It's literally, I think, the Monday morning that the DPD driver came here, he had a bit of a problem, because, again, a lot of people ordered. I think the average order from our existing customers was anywhere between 4 to 5 5-litre containers. So obviously they have their favorites. We've actually got it really right with the 7 that we launched. We aren't going to launch currently in the new range anything else, because you don't need it, like 5 litres of wax. So yeah, they went really well, and that's all I'll say. There's a little bit of an issue with the manufacturer of the 5 litre kind of containers, but again, we've bypassed that issue, and as I said, we've got 2 pallets coming in of the 5 litre kind of containers. So we caught that one early, even though we had good stock of the 5 litre containers. They just moved so fast and so aggressively that it's good. It's really good. So I hope the people who obviously support us every day, every week, and stuff like that kind of enjoy the 5 litre containers now. Top job on the pricing of the 5 litre range. Yeah, it's really hard. We try to battle the pricing, because what a lot of people think, and this is where to the day that I remain the kind of main spoken person with Kelly as well in this business, up until that day changes, I always kind of, the pricing does not have to be the same as everybody else's. Their strength qualities, obviously, if you think that the strength of every brand in the world is the same, you are wrong. You know, some brands make flavored water, some brands make medium stuff, and some brands make top range stuff. So again, those prices have to fluctuate. So we try to go as best as we can without having the shirt ripped off of our back, because everybody wants a 5 litre of, let's say, wheel cleaner at $12.99 with free shipping and a 10% discount code and a bag of sweets and a free pressure washer package. You know, that stuff does not exist. So and in what I mentioned earlier on in the podcast, the whole supply and demand thing, literally everything is going up. Everything. The only thing that hasn't gone up in this facility is the electric bill, and that's probably going to change next month or in 2 months' time. So everything's on the rise, and everybody wants it cheaper and cheaper. That, you know, that doesn't work. So we kind of tried our best. So yeah, how has the 5 litre sales sold? Are you a walk-in service to buy your products, Lewis Collins? Yes, we are. So again, what you see behind me, obviously you can't see on the left and you can't see on the right there. You can walk in. This is technically my YouTube set. You can sometimes see some very nice cars here. Obviously right now we're filming our GLC 63S for the YouTube series that's happening right now. And actually, by the way, for the people who watch this, episode 1, please tell me what you think. Yeah, so you can walk in. We've got a full walk-in store. Everything you see online is available in store. Even if you want to go and buy a pressure washer package, so that's the most expensive single item, we have pressure washer packages, boom and boom, waiting for you. So if you want to go and buy one, they're all good to go. So hopefully I'll see you soon. And that was Lewis Collins. So yeah. By the way, guys, can I ask, for the people who watch the podcast weekly, on my back end, I can't see this, but obviously because this is a monetized platform, I got an email a couple of weeks ago saying you can enable super chats. So I enabled the super chats feature, but again, because I'm not going to pay for myself, because again, I'm on the back end of the YouTube, please tell me if there's a tab, because I can't view this. So for somebody who watches us every week, please have a look. If not, I need to obviously look kind of how to activate it properly, because I'm still learning this whole YouTube live thing. Craig Waite. Hi Nick, I pick up my Mercedes E-Class Estate gunmetal grey on Monday. Once I use your products on it, it will look awesome. Clapping cheeks. You always say clapping cheeks, Craig. Well, first of all, congratulations on your E-Class. Which plate is it? Is it a brand spanker? Is it a couple of years old? How curious. Really nice cars. You'll probably have, yeah, so it's like an E220, E3 something. I'm not too kind of versed in the Mercedes models, but if it's an estate, it'll be comfy. It's like a GT motorway kind of cruiser. You will have no problems. It'll probably have very soft, old school, well, not old school, but you know, like that soft suspension. So hopefully you will enjoy it. Michael Slater, Savage Garage, missing your videos, man. I hope you're okay. He'll be back soon, Michael. He will be back soon. Michael Slater again. I've got a petrol stain around my petrol cap. What's the best thing for removal? So petrol stain, petrol. Well, first of all, petrol is a solvent. So what I would recommend is obviously open your petrol cap, pressure wash it off. On every wash, in fact, you'll see this on the series exactly what I do with it. I always agitate in there every wash, that way it never gets stained. So try the citrus neat with like a detailing brush, agitated, obviously foaming, agitated, all that sort of stuff, and see how that happens. Now if that doesn't happen, or if that doesn't remove anything, I would think you've actually stained the clear coat, because it's still painted inside the petrol cap. So maybe a light hand polish would suffice. So if you haven't got a machine, like a little tiny machine, just get a little bit of polish on a cloth and agitate it, and obviously kind of polish that way. That's awesome. The value over the 500 mil, you'd be silly not to. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people, even when we had the last 5 liters, a lot of people bought the 5 liters, and a lot of people will buy the 500 mil. It's to some people, it's easier to buy the 500s, 5 liters, 25 liters, whichever is the biggest quantity that the brand does. So for example, everything we've done, you have to pretty much use every wash. So on a product like that, so citrus, wheels, wash, foam, undress, detail spray, wheels, you have to wash it. And some of those products are actually, so for example, with the interior, you can use 1 or 2 sprays a seat. It depends. If I'm talking about maintenance work here, and you can kind of wipe it on, wipe it off when you're back in business. Now with stuff like citrus, you have to cover, you know, the whole car, the lower third of the car, all the way around. So of course you're going to burn through that product more. So hence why the 5 liters exist. I've got a petrol stain, I've done that. Michael Brett, before I answer that question, I need to have a sip. Hey James, no, that's not the one, that's the next one. In fact, I'll do that one first. Michael Slater, hey James, are you okay? Probably missing those videos, man. I hope you're okay. Yeah, he is okay. He's all good, Michael. Michael Brett, will you be doing taps for the top of the 5 liter bottles? So currently we are doing the pumps. So you can buy them with the accessories. Unfortunately, they do not come on their own. Had a guy actually ask a question on Instagram this morning, do they come? Unfortunately, they don't. So if you need it, please buy it. In terms of the taps, I'm not yet sure. I want to try and make a really nice solution. Everybody does taps, and everybody does kind of the pumps. Again, why over engineer something that is literally designed to do this, or kind of to pour it out? So I'll kind of see if we can innovate anything new. Craig Wait, hi, are you going to do YumCars mugs for tea? Oh dear. So we get asked this so often, are you going to do these kind of little accessories? Who knows? But Craig, if I'm ever going to do it, and in fact, if anybody's watching me who wants to copy me, this is a good idea, so listen up. If we are going to do anything, let's say for drinking hot drinks, we're not going to bring out, obviously this is not glass, this is a disposable cup, but if we are going to bring a glass cup out, or a utensil for holding hot water or cold water, it's going to be the best solution that you can find. And trust me, it'll probably be quite expensive. Yeah, it'll be quite expensive. Currently, it's everything is on our to-do list, pretty much everything. And actually, you're not the first person who have asked this, but it's not like the most urgent thing. We need to get to a level where we are satisfying pretty much 100% of the needs of the market, because right now, you know, as a car care brand, the main focus obviously is not going to be something to drink tea or coffee out of, but because I'm a coffee connoisseur and I drink a ton of caffeine, as you all know, I mainline caffeine pretty much up to the moment I go to sleep. So if I can make something that I like for drinking coffees and it's a very nice experience, then hell yeah, I'm going to launch it. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for it. Michael Brett, Craig, what a good idea. Yum cup and water bottles. Oh, water bottles. I've had that one as well. So water bottles, cups, socks, God, caps, all that sort of stuff. Ooh, Savage Garage. Yes, sir, it's here. By the way, I was not asking for a bloody donation, James. You're gonna receive a punch from me when I see you next. I just wanted to see, Jesus, but thank you so much. £5. Wow, it's my first ever super chat. That's cool. Because I can't see that option. I just wanted to ask. But James, you're a legend. Thank you so much. Michael Slater, it's not actually around the cap. It's dropped down between the cap and my wheel, so it's on the silver paint. So it's actually dripped down vertically. Okay, so in that case, yeah, I would. If you're washing the car and the manual part of the washing, so with your wash mirror pad and all the pre-wash, if all that's not touching it, I would recommend that you polish the paint. So Craig Waite, it's a 17 plate AMG 4MATIC. Do you think it will need claying? 4MATIC, so it's a 4-wheel drive. Nice. I can't answer that question. Does a car need claying? It's like, how long's a piece of string? I can't see the car. I've never felt the car. But the best way to find out, obviously it's a 17 plate, so it's 4 years old. So more than likely, it's either been done already by somebody who cares, it's been looked after really well, or it's going to be really bad. So it's one of those three options. There's no in between. So the best way to tell is obviously wash the car, and after you rinse the car, I like to kind of close my eyes and feel the paint like this. I know this looks really creepy, and the reason is your fingertips are one of the most sensitive parts on the body. So if you're feeling anything that is not baby smooth, glass smooth, however you want to call it, so it should just run up and down like super smooth. It doesn't have to be slick because the car may have no protection, but just smooth. If you start feeling like, imagine this is the paint and this is some contaminants, and you're starting to pick up with your hand any contaminants, and that could be a number of things, I would recommend you do a decontamination step. So don't go straight into kind of the clean step, because the whole goal of car care when you're removing things, whether it's pre-wash, kind of contamination, all that sort of stuff, is to remove as much of the heavy bulk as possible without touching the car. Hence why pre-washers exist. So in your case, what you need to do is tar removal, iron removal, in that order. I wouldn't do it the other way around. And then clay it. And those two first steps, so the tar will remove obviously the tar and any kind of adhesives, and the fallout removers will remove any embedded ferrous, so anything like a metal. It'll attach it, it'll dissolve it, and it'll rinse away on your rinse. So at least then when you're cleaning the car, those two steps will not remove everything, because you might have overspray, you might have tree sap, you might have other things on there. But at least then your clay bar or your clay block is not dragging over potential stuff that you could have removed via a chemical, rather than just grinding that into the paint. So yes, and again, watch my clay video. Super simple to do. Use loads of lube. It's one of these things that use it once, use it right. If you don't use enough lube and you try and be stingy with it, you will end up actually causing more damage to the paint, which means you're going to have to spend more money on either paying a professional to rectify your mistakes, or you rectifying your mistakes, and you're going to end up buying polishing compounds, pads, machines potentially. So use a bit more lube, be careful with it, as in it's not rocket science. Basically watch my video and that should help. This is a question for everybody. I had a little one in January. I've got a 3-door Swift Sport. What is a good car for both family and to mod? Always a modification in mind, isn't it, Michael? I'll let other people answer that first. That'll be interesting what to say. So Um, 3-door Swift Sport. There's loads of cars you can buy. To be fair, it depends how big you want to go. Depends how much money you want to spend, how much fun you want to have in the car. It's really, really hard. So I'm going to kind of move on to, first of all, is there any questions on Facebook? Hi Nick. Hi Nick, hope you're well. I have noticed that some companies are now using sugar-based ingredients in their products. What, if any, benefits of doing so, and is it something that I'm guessing us, YumCars, would be exploring? Many thanks, Stephen Craig Martin. So that's an interesting kind of question with the sugar-based stuff. There's mainly one company who kind of do it within the UK. They were the first. So sugar-based stuff, it's a lot to do with eco chemicals, because a lot of surfactants, let's say, so surfactant is how something acts with the surface, so surfactant, how it's acting on the surface. And then what that could mean is, it could mean it strips, it adds hydrophobics, is it adding gloss enhancers, is it so it's a number of items. So a number of surfactants and products, in this case, mainly cleaners, can be quite harsh, could be solvent based, petrochemicals as well, whereas sugar based stuff is, again, I'm not going to go too deeply into the chemistry because it can get very, very complicated. But with the petrochemical stuff, in fact, I've got a little spec sheet here as well. I've been kind of doing a little bit of research, but as I said, petrochemicals are pretty much non-biodegradable anyway. And some sugar-based surfactants such as alkyl polyglucosides kind of contain more biodegradable materials, and also safer for the paint, safer for the environment. In some cases, again, I cannot comment now because we do not manufacture such a product, but in some cases it can be cheaper. Again, raw materials right now are on the rise, so I can't confidently and honestly say it's cheaper, it's more expensive, I don't know. So in fact, what was his name? Where is he? Stephen. So yes, that is some of the benefits. Obviously the added surfactants that are sugar based can increase cleaning in some cases. They hang about on the panels a lot less, they dissolve a lot quicker. So personally, we are definitely not exploring it. Same with the graphene technologies, we are not yet exploring that either. If anybody wants to know why, please ask away, but I just feel like it's not kind of where I want the product to kind of go to. So a few more questions. So instead of cleaning your already clean car, can you do my matte grey GLC 63S instead? I've got COVID. Kirk's here. There's no chance of cars coming in here, Kirk. Absolutely no chance. Way too busy, my friend. Chris. Hey Nick, what was the new wheel mitt I see in your bucket on the last video? Ooh, so who's that? Chris. Yeah, Chris, it is one of the new projects that we're working on. So if you listen to the video, I actually said we're working on a various number of projects and developments, and it depends obviously at which stage some are at. Some are very close to completion. As soon as 2-3 weeks there's going to be a launch and some are going to be 2 years away. So basically the wheel mitt, which you will see in the next episode, I have been testing around 24 mitts, and I was never a wheel mitt man. So again, I explained this on the video, so it'll probably make more sense. I've grown to like it, and I've matured into the mitt. Some people like it off the bat and then go off it, or always like it, but I was one of these people, if you use a high quality detail brush, why do you need a mitt? That was always kind of my stance. And then I started testing. So a couple of years ago, I started testing using smaller wash pads behind the wheels, had a bad experience. I'd tried some dedicated wash mitts in the wheels and stuff like that. Didn't really like it because the wash mitt again is about this wide. And then it came to a point where I thought, wheel mitts again. So I kind of looked at products that are kind of shrunk from the washing media or the washing kind of product. So what's happening now is a lot of people can take a wash pad this big, shrink it down to be this big, and kind of implement the same raw materials and the blends to actually use it to clean kind of wheels. So we tested all sorts. We tested microfiber, we tested a mixed blend, so sometimes fully synthetic, half synthetic, as I said, obviously microfiber, also wool. Now, you know my stance on wool in terms of washing cars. Absolutely hate it. Anyway, so through this testing, I've tried brand after brand, manufacturer after manufacturer, and each point had a little bit of a negative. I mean, each product isn't ever going to be perfect. Some people are just going to hate it. Some people like big wash pads, some people like small wash pads. So you'll never win them all. So with this specific product, what we did is, I think this was wheel mitt number 25. We tested it. We liked it. Now, it was first aired, if you look carefully, it was first aired on TikTok. So this was a while back now. And nobody actually noticed anything. People didn't ask me any questions. I thought, okay, that's very interesting. I then put on a YouTube video and everybody's asking about it now. So yeah, so it was aired on TikTok, really nice. Actually, it is wool. So it's very strange because if you give me a wash pad like this and say, this is natural wool, go and wash your car with it, I will just throw it in the bin. I absolutely hate wool on paint. That's just my preference and I'll never use it. But this specific one is very nice on the wheels, it's very soft, it rinses very clean. The only problem with it, again, no product's perfect and I'm already predicting a problem, but it's not a problem really. Whereas with our current wash pad, you can machine wash it. Not a problem, I've done it for years. And it just comes out, it gets that machine agitation, gets all the kind of dirt out. Whereas with this, you have to hand rinse it out, like under some warm water, cold water, and then just hang it dry. And I sometimes like to machine wash things. I think it's better. But if you put that mitt inside a washing machine, it'll just get eaten alive. And when you open up the drum, there'll just be furry pieces everywhere. So yes, that is our development. I'm not developing it any further because it's actually perfect. As it is now, we've kind of, we got the right blend, the right size. I've got big hands. Kelly's got small hands. So we tested it with the biggest hand, smallest hand, medium hand, fat fingers, thin fingers. And everybody seems to have kind of the same opinion that I'm voicing right now. So it's very good. And what's really cool is combine them with the caliper woolies. So caliper woolly behind the mitts, the wheel mitt behind the spokes. Absolutely unbelievable. So you're going to see it on the next video, which is the wheel and tire cleaning video. And yeah, it's coming. How quick is it coming? I really do not know. So the actual wheel mitt is here, but the packaging is probably a couple of weeks out. So I'm going to try and do it before Christmas. If not before Christmas, probably in January. So, Nick, with the growing demand of your brand and with new brands popping up what seems like every couple of weeks, how do you and Kelly differentiate your value proposition from the other brands? Interesting question. So, in fact, let me reread that. Okay. So, new brands popping up every couple of weeks. Yes, that's correct. There's nothing wrong with new brands popping up every couple of weeks. We were once a new brand. Maguire's were 100 years ago a new brand. So everybody has to start somewhere. 100% agree. So again, I welcome a bit of competition. I think it's quite cool. However, how do we differentiate our value proposition? I think that's the easiest question I'll answer all day. With these new set brands, some are very good. I'll be honest. Some are really, really bad. The way we differentiate is when we came to the market, and even before we came to the market. So we didn't just wake up one day and say, "Oh, come on, let's go make some shampoo and stuff." This was pre-planned to a T. Everything. I think a few people are starting. Well, the people who know us kind of know this, but the people who don't know us, like, we get so many kind comments through email, YouTube, Instagram, all that sort of stuff, and people can see that we've pre-planned everything and every action is thought out. And this is where we kind of differentiate. We try and always provide the best level of quality. I'm going to leave this service part out of it for now. So the best level of quality that we possibly can at any given date. So the 27th of October, is it the 27th today? Yeah, the 27th of October, if we release a product, that is the best product that we can get it to. There is no money limitation. There's no time limitation. If a product needs to cost X amount at cost or this amount, it will cost that. Same thing, I'll give you an example. Our wash guns. We buy a gun that is already expensive, super, super expensive. It gets shipped twice around the world and then gets shipped to us, right? Which is kind of a funny timeline, but still. It gets shipped to us and then we rip it apart and then we put it basically back together to how we like it. So obviously we still sell, let's say, the standard SGS-28, fantastic gun, but our ultimate guns, we kind of make a lot better. The parts come from Switzerland. Again, that's another set of shipping that we've got to add from another country that's thousands of miles away. Import charges, stuff like that. Now, what we do is we charge accordingly. So we don't spend, I don't know, £67 on additional parts and only charge you £50. No. So we actually incorporate the cost and then we obviously kind of charge accordingly because a lot of research time has gone into this. A lot of people don't realize. So for example, our wheel cleaner, there's another good example. Our wheel cleaner, first of all, we bought pretty much every wheel cleaner in the world 3 times over our lifetime. We cross-tested in every combination you can ever imagine. And then we retested and rebought all these stuff once we ran out of stock. It took years of planning and preparation. Now, again, like I always mention, the raw material costs that we do with our chemistry team is, I always say, please make it the best. Make the highest foaming, fastest reacting, or if there's anything new in there, drop it in there. Let's have a look. Let's try this. Like literally, I am up for trying anything and everything if it takes it. So I've even put, sometimes it's in every product I've tried this, I've put 100% of a certain raw material. I'm like, no, this hasn't worked. Let's put 100% of this other raw material that's in this wheel cleaner, right? Or shampoo or detail spray. And obviously I start to realize, oh, well, X isn't working, well, Y has to work. And we keep trialing, and that's our kind of value proposition. And over the years, it's very hard as a new company to kind of come on the block and say, we are the best, okay? I did that. I did that from the bat. I said, I'm the best, that's it. And I have literally hammered my way through each month, each year, and I've fought with people online, not physically. And I've fought with them, and I still continue to this day to fight with people. As early as this morning, we had a cheeky person comment on our PF22 saying, you charge too much, you're a rip-off. You don't realize where it's coming from. Thank you. Goodbye. So, yeah, I fight with people, but I realize some companies will come on and they'll say, we're the best, and they get shut down. Now, you've got to give everybody one chance, at least one chance. Go and buy their products, go and try it, then make a decision. I mean, some companies really don't help themselves. They're really kind of, their branding is off, their products are off, their accessories are off. Then again, I can kind of see where the problem begins, but every market, everybody says to us, well, it's a saturated market. Every market is saturated. The laptop market, the camera market, the shoe market, the toilet paper market. Everybody's got at least 50 options in every market around the world. That is just life. So if you're going to enter this market, then go and make the best thing that you possibly can. The strongest, the shiniest, the smelliest, whatever you want to say. And that is our value proposition, and this is where we differentiate. Now the service part, that is easy. It's even easier than the product sometimes. It's if there's a problem, sorted. There is literally no blink. Like, we will sort your problem. Or you have this query, sorted. I don't understand. I mean, there's so many companies that I ring, and they don't want to help me. Like, they literally do not want to help me. And sometimes I'll ring car resellers or car care resellers, and I'll order something like, so for example, I wanted to try a new cutting compound. So I rang this company up and I said, even though I did the research, but I rang them up and I wondered, like, hi, good morning, have you used this? Have you got any feedback on it? Like, what's your personal opinion? One, rude as hell on the phones. Two, didn't have a clue what I was talking about, but yet somebody wants to charge you $29.99 for this product when they can't even sell it. So our service, I think it's one of the best. Quite easily, any problem gets rectified without blinking. Obviously, we have to cross-check the problem because there's a lot of scamming people out there. People saying they've ordered from us when they've never ordered from us because it's very easy to check. But apart from the 1% kind of people who are fakes, the service is really important, and that's another huge differentiating factor. Email, Instagram, Facebook, phone call, walk-in. Actually, not many brands have got walk-in stores either, and some of the brands that do have walk-in stores, you speak to a person who hasn't got a clue what they're talking about, and at the end of the day, some people have got some very, very expensive cars, or some people have got cars that aren't worth a lot of money, but they care for them like they're babies. So it's very important to actually help people. So I've begun to realize that a lot of people, a vast majority of people, don't actually enjoy what they do, and this is where it can get a little bit kind of strange and frustrating, because why are you in an industry that you don't like? If you like something, you can literally make 300 times the income because you're passionate. You're passionate and you want to help everybody. The people who go into car care because they see a certain brand owner drive a certain car and have a certain house, trust me, this happens. I've got physical proof of this in writing that this happens. And I think you're going to fail. You're literally setting yourself up to fail. You want to go and do any business, by the way, this is selling pencils. I'm going to go and set up a pencil factory because I want to own a Bugatti. I will fail within 12 months. That's a fact. So that was quite a good question. I'm just reading up on the comments. Obviously, everyone's recommending cars. So Mondeo ST, I haven't got a machine to use. What shall I do? Can I use polished compound by hand? Yes, you can. Craig, you can have a look at my video about 20 videos ago. It's how to polish car by hand. Hopefully that'll help you. Hi Michael, I've got 3 kids and I've got a Peugeot, Pug 508 GT line, which is a great car, and you could mod it to look a bit meaner if needed. Nick, the press or bottle household, can you remind me what you can put in them, please? You can technically put anything in them, but for safety and longevity purposes, I would avoid, in our range anyway, I can't comment on the others, but I would put I wouldn't put citrus and undress. If you want to use them, I would probably use the industrial, but for the household, use everything else. So that'll be good, Michael. Yes, James, loved your ST, to be fair, so that is up there for sure, and I can't wait to see you back, man. Craig, where are all your Halloween decorations? I'm a boring man. No Halloween decorations for us. we're too busy to be carving pumpkins. Kelly wants to go and carve a pumpkin, so I think we're gonna go and buy a few pumpkins and carve them. It was for the crack, you know, and kind of enjoy our personal time carving some pumpkins. But yeah, no decorations. Plus, I don't want to put anything up. You know, when you put the decorations up, there could be a bit of kind of dust and lint flying around. I've got a car in here that is currently undergoing a video series, so I don't want to introduce any more contaminants than I have to. Nuns on the Run, Merino Lamb's Wool Finger Mitt. You'll have to wait and watch the video, so yes. I think the video will be live Friday, so that episode anyway, all the videos are pretty much done, but that specific video will be live for you on Friday evening. YumCars products just claps cheeks. Craig, thank you so much. Andy Woodhouse, just wanted to say a big thanks for your kit I have just bought. Andy Woodhouse. Andy, thank you very much for the support. Please let me know which kit you have bought. Max bundle, protection bundle. I'm curious. Hit me with it, my friend. Hit me with it. So yeah, but anyway, thank you for the support, and whatever you have bought, I hope you enjoyed massively. Let's have a look. Right, the questions. Could you shed a little bit business advice? I'm potentially starting a detailing business and I want to move into the resale of product. How would you do it if you were to do it all again? That's a decent question. So you're about to start detailing. I'll answer that question first. If I was to do it all again, on the detailing side, what I know now business-wise, I would start even more expensive. Pretty much. So imagine you do your research and you want to kind of compete. You will never compete with the lowest priced people. You just cannot. I will give you an example. There's a guy over that fence on our main road, so on Chesterfield Road. Apparently he can do a full paint correction, wheels off, 50-year super duper graphene detail spray infused ceramic coating, all for £150, right? You will never ever compete with that pricing. A good coating package to buy yourself as a detailer will cost you anywhere between £100 to £200. In some cases slightly more, but that's about average if you buy a two-step coating. Like something along those lines, you know, your machines, the professional units, lighting, compounds. I can keep on going. So you'll never compete with £150 specials. That is just the way of life and you have to accept it. Now if you want to compete with those things, which I wouldn't recommend, is I would suggest that you don't buy the best chemicals, you don't buy the best machines. And again, I don't want to go any further into this because that is really bad business advice. I think if you're going to do it right, start it right to the best of your ability. So if you cannot, for example, afford a Rupes polisher, that's fine and you're going to save up for it, fantastic. But if your limit is say £250 for a machine, don't go and buy a £60 machine and go and spend the rest in a nightclub somewhere. Go and buy a £250 machine and work up to the limits. So everyone's got a budget, of course. So the way I did it is we had a budget. So we bought the best machines, of course. Like there was no comparison for me, so it had to be Rupes. That is kind of my preferred brand. So we bought all the machines. That was kind of re-budgeted into it. In terms of the product side, we budgeted to use the best because we will alternatively charge over the top end. So at the customer level, we use the best, so we're going to charge the best. So that would be kind of my advice. Try and cherry pick the best products that you can. Watch certain key YouTubers, which again have got no agenda and have got kind of the best interest at hand. So just look at someone you want to become like. That's the best thing I can say. Look at what they use. Look at how they kind of, you know, polish cars. You know, there's some really cool detailers out there who actually show you the machines that they use. They have really nice cinematics of how they polish cars. So just go and watch those people. 90% of that will pretty much be learned through that kind of thing. Now, in terms of moving into the resale of products, again, you can go and compete with some of the big boys and kind of try and stock everything they stock, and hopefully you can hope that something will fall off a tree and land in your head, or land on your head, and by that I mean an order or two. Or well, in fact, don't forget, these people, some of them started 10, 15, 20 years ago. They've got much more buying power now. Some of them are official importers of certain brands. So it's going to be very hard to kind of hit the higher tier pricing, or the higher tier of discounts, because if you have a certain budget in mind, so a couple of £1,000 isn't going to get you the highest like a discount rate. So again, you've got to be relative. I would choose the brands that you believe in. That's the most important thing to me. Choose what you believe in and buy it. So don't go off the fact that X, Y, and Z are selling this brand because it seems popular, so hopefully I'll get some orders. But one, you've never used it, you don't maybe believe in it, or if you do believe in it and you do use it and you just want to kind of sell what everybody else is selling, yes you can, but I would just sell what you believe in. Now, that can be quite hard because as a professional, a lot of people, well, the people who always charge up to a price point, so especially, that's the wind by the way, so that is very loud. So some of the mobile professionals will always charge up to a certain price point because they're mobile, whereas the unit-based guys, especially when they're doing heavy correction work, coatings, PPF, stuff like that, they can actually charge more because there's more work involved. So if you are servicing home users or professionals who do the said jobs, which are quite big, you can actually go for the more premium products. And trust me, there is a difference. You can get a product that is worth £10 a bottle, £15 a bottle, £20 a bottle, and there is a big difference between all three tiers of those things. And if you want to resell, the best strategy ways is just go for the best in each package. Just if you like a shampoo, choose a shampoo that you like and not what you think will sell the fastest, because that's a number one way to kind of failure almost. Selling what you think the people want, when half the time what the people want isn't actually what's the best. So it's normally influenced by heavy marketing. What's the word? Heavy, I wouldn't say the word deception, but heavy misguidedness. So there are kind of a few products that you've never heard of, and then all of a sudden all the biggest influencers in the world seem to have this product, and all of a sudden everybody's importing it. These things happen tactically, and these things happen for a reason. So I wouldn't get sucked into that big multimedia kind of marketing machine, because sometimes those aren't the best products to buy. But I hope that's helped, and good luck. Product just claps. Just wanted to say a big oh, I've read that one. The Savage Garage. Has the Yum wash ever changed the recipe in the time it has been out? I don't know if it's just me, but it seems to provide more water repellent properties on many more recent washes. No, 100% not. Our shampoo is a completely pure shampoo. It's not designed to strip, and it's not designed to add anything. Now, regards the water behavior, don't forget, when you wash your shampoo with just a natural shampoo that doesn't add, it doesn't strip, it doesn't add any kind of gloss or anything like that, or wax layer or something like that. So when you do just a natural shampoo, you are washing off the contamination off your car. Now, if your car's protected, now I'm curious which car this is on, James, because I saw a story, can you remember, a couple of days ago, was it, when it was heavy beading? Now, if it's that said car, and obviously you've driven through the rain and dirt and you've washed it and you rinse it off, of course the car's going to bead even heavier, because a clean surface that is protected should bead with the right product really well. Michael Brett, Nick, I'm not a rich man. I work 7 days a week. non-stop. My hobby is match fishing, but that has taken a back step. I really love cleaning my car, so I want to be and decide that the main company they use for said hobby, in this case car cleaning, is us. So thank you very much. Yes, we take pride in our formulas. I take pride in the presentation of the product, the explanation, the chemistry behind it. So yes, I try and take it to a whole different level. Hopefully people are enjoying the way I do it. Some people absolutely hate it, but a lot of people love it. So yeah, thank you very much. Are you going to do YumCars, Xmas cards? Craig, you're giving me all these ideas. Come on, Christmas cards. I haven't got time to eat. Never. Oh dear. I've got no time to eat and go to the toilet. Never mind. Never mind. Make Christmas cards. Ooh, one sec. My video has decided to lag. Hold on. I don't know what's happened here. Are we back in business? I think it's lagging. Anyway, I'm going to continue as normal. Christmas cards, no, Craig. We're not going to be doing any Christmas cards. Right. Nuns on the run. Looking forward to it, fella. Yeah, cool. Friday evening. Keep your eyes out. Are you ready for Black Friday? Oh, are we ready for Black Friday? We are taking every day as it comes, because our volume is increasing every day, twofold almost. Our wholesale is increasing. I've got some, hopefully, I'm not going to say anything. Zero information is being passed out, but hopefully I've got some absolutely amazing news, which will obviously increase everything I have just said. So the Black Friday preparations are well underway. Whatever products are en route to us are en route to us. And whatever's here the day Black Friday launches, then that is what is here. But in terms of the mainstream, everything's ready. We're good to go. It's a shame I'm not going to show you inside that unit through the wall, because there's a ton of stock, absolute ton of stock, and we've been kind of working overtime to kind of catch up, because we have been very, very busy. And don't forget, on your busiest days, we've encountered sometimes the biggest problems. The website's one, obviously. Sometimes, by the way, this one's not a problem, but imagine your shop sometimes is just non-stop. I like dealing with customers. Kelly likes dealing with customers, because we're a front-facing kind of leadership team here in Kelly. So I love speaking to the people who buy our stuff. I would rather speak to them rather than get one of the employees to kind of come speak, because that's what I'm more passionate about. I love speaking to you guys and finding out how you're doing and all that sort of stuff. So sometimes we'll have a lot of work on and everything happens. So for example, on Monday when I started the series, everything was happening. We had news about that unit, the website was being updated, and the whole thing with the development links. Obviously orders are coming through the door, and it just happened to be a dry-ish day here in Mansfield, and just people walking through the door, keep walking through the door, and I was thinking there's not enough time in the day. So yeah, Black Friday preparations are upcoming. When is Black Friday? Last Friday of the month. Let me just double check. When is Black Friday? Where's my calendar? So it is going to be the tail end of the month, so it should start the 26th of November. Last few questions. I'm going to round this off. The BMW which you saw, the picture of the beading. Yeah, that's it, James. If the car's protected, and I believe you said Yum ceramic on that car, the car is very well protected. So if you're washing the car and you're rinsing the shampoo off and it's beaten like an animal, it's got nothing to do with the shampoo. That's what you've done in your previous steps, and that's exactly why you do it, because you want the whole ease of user maintenance, stuff like that. Michael, Nick, where is Kelly tonight? She's hiding. What's the name of the garage you sold your Mustang to, please? I'll answer the Kelly question first. These will be the last two questions, because I know the connection keeps kind of jumping and I can't control it. So Kelly's currently next door. She's waiting for me. She's a trooper, always by my side. Where she goes, I go. and where I go, she goes. So it's quite cool. And the name of the garage where you sold your Mustang to, please. Yes, so it is called Sterling Motor Cars, East Grinstead. The guy who runs it's called Ben, so Ben Oliver. Very, very nice man. Please give him a call. He's got a lot of nice stock. He's got obviously some really prestigious cars like McLarens, Ferraris, Bentleys, stuff like that, Astons. And he goes all the way down to, like, you know, nice premium German cars. So in a decent budget. So yes, Sterling Motor Cars. His name is Ben. Tell him Nick sent you. I'm not on a commission. Anyway, guys, so I'm going to round this off right now. I know the signal is on and off a little bit, so it's hopefully next week there's not going to be a torrential storm here. I hope everybody's had a good podcast as always. I really, really appreciate all the support that you have done for me recently, and people have been sharing my videos and my links, and it's really nice. Obviously, you guys keep ordering as well, which is so humbling. You keep supporting us. Every time you guys place an order, that's all I'm going to say is, every time you guys place an order, you are just putting a little bit more towards the final vision. Now, the final vision is a long way away, but every time we have an order, we put it a little bit to the side, all towards the vision. So I really appreciate it. Kelly appreciates it. Jeff the dog appreciates it. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's just really nice. And you guys, obviously, on a Wednesday night, it's 9:10 right now. You could be spending time with your family, your kids, or whatever you do on a Wednesday evening. But no, you come and watch Nick go and speak about cars and products and business and all that sort of stuff. So to everyone who stuck it out from the beginning, thank you so much. I know there's a little bit of a issue with the wind, so hopefully that's going to get fixed next week. And I hope I've answered all your questions. Obviously, Facebook, Instagram, in here as well. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, and hopefully I'll catch you next Wednesday at the same time. So thank you very much, and take care.